Hey guys! So I have noticed recently that I've been getting asked a couple of questions quite frequently, both as comments on videos or private messages, and I'm happy to answer these questions, but since people keep asking me the same question, I thought I would just go ahead and make a video in case anybody else was wondering but didn't ask. That is basically just, have Neil and I been tested for anything? As far as like what's wrong with us, why aren't we getting pregnant? That's a question I get all the time. And another question is, would we seek out, I guess, help or like IVF or IUI? At least I think that's the question is, will we seek medical help to get pregnant? Okay, so the answer to the first question is no, we have not had any formal infertility testing. Before we got pregnant with our son, we had started the journey to, we visited an infertility specialist, and we were about to start testing for things. I already had my HSG scheduled, but they were just waiting on my period to start, because I don't know, there's some kind of a timing thing, like you have to have your period and then right after or during. I'm not quite sure how that all works, but they told me I needed to call in as soon as they started my period, and then they would let me know what day we were going to do the test. However, my period didn't start because we conceived our son naturally. He was a wonderful surprise, and yeah, so I never actually had the HSG done, and Neil has never had any testing. That said, I do know that we have some issues, and the reason I know that we have issues and what those issues are is because a little over a year ago I had a miscarriage, and during the ultrasound, the doctor found that on my left ovary I had a really large complex cyst. A complex cyst is, okay, so you have like simple cysts, which is what most people get, and that's a fluid-filled cyst. And then you have complex cysts, which are cysts that are filled with both fluid and other. So just other, I don't know, there could be, this is going to be gross, there could be skin, there could be hair, tissue, teeth have been found, not mine, but in other people's, but just other than just fluid, basically, can be found in those cysts. And those cysts can be worrisome, and can be cancerous, which is why when the doctor saw that I had a complex cyst, she kind of scared me because she started talking about cancer and did anybody else in my family have cancer, and she had talked about me meeting with an oncologist, and it was a lot of stress. And anyways, so I ended up choosing to have that cyst removed. So I had surgery, and while they were in there to remove that one complex cyst, they found out that I actually had a ton of cysts, not a ton of complex cysts, but just a ton of cysts, including that complex cyst, on both ovaries. My left one, apparently, it was just covered in them, and then also it had that one large, and she never actually told me the size of the cyst, but she just said it was extremely large, and she was very surprised that I wasn't in an extreme amount of pain. They kept asking me, every nurse and doctor who saw it kept asking me, like, are you sure you're not in pain? So I don't know how big it is, but apparently it was big enough that it should have been causing me pain, or I guess. But anyways, so they removed that cyst, but she told me because of the size of that cyst, I guess it had been leaning or rubbing against my left fallopian tube, which caused some damage to that tube. She said it was extremely swollen, and basically, I guess, kind of closed off, and she wasn't sure whether the damage to that fallopian tube was permanent or if it would just kind of heal itself now that there wasn't a cyst rubbing up against it anymore. In removing all the other cysts from my left ovary, she actually had to remove a lot of the ovary itself. She said I have a small bit of ovary left, and that it's still functional, and I mean, by the grace of God, I still could get pregnant from that ovary, but she did say she had to remove a lot of it, and from the way she's saying, I guess the majority of it is gone. And then that's also the side with the bum tube. So left side, most of that ovary is gone, and it's got a bum tube. So yeah, that's what's going on the left side. On the right side, she did have to remove a lot of cysts on that side as well. However, she was able to save pretty much the entire ovary. I didn't really lose any ovary. It's just, she just removed the cysts, and there's nothing wrong with that tube. So that's what I know is wrong with me. Also, while she was in there, she said I had endometriosis. She removed what she could while she was in there, but she said that she was pretty sure that the endometriosis would obviously grow back, and also that the cysts would probably also grow back. So she didn't say that I had PCOS, but she said it kind of looked like it. And so I believe she did say for sure I have endometriosis, and she said it appeared that I also had PCOS. So we're going to go with that. Endometriosis, PCOS for me. Both of those affect fertility, so I'm pretty sure that the reason we are not getting pregnant is my fault. However, Neil has never gotten tested. We do plan on getting him tested. We don't have any specific day, but we do plan eventually to get him tested as well, just to see. However, you know, we have gotten pregnant 3 times now, so, I mean, he can get me pregnant, so I'm pretty sure that the issue does not lie with him, but that it lies with me. Yes, we have one child. We have one healthy child. We had one healthy pregnancy, but I have been pregnant 3 times, but I've miscarried twice out of those 3 times. So that answers the question as far as, do we know of any problems with us and have we had any testing? And then the other question I get frequently is, would we ever seek any medical help to get pregnant? And I don't know the answer to that. I want to say no. Like, I can't really answer that question as of this moment. I feel like the answer is no, that after a certain time of trying, if we have not been successful, that we would probably move on to adoption as our next option. I don't really see us, you know, going through all of the testing and all of the medication and all of the injections and anything else that has to do with like IUI or even IVF. I don't see us doing that, but never say never. I won't say that we wouldn't do it. I mean, if it was something that Neil felt very strongly about trying, you know, once or twice before we moved on to adoption, then, you know, we would obviously discuss that. And I'm not saying that I would be completely opposed to it, but at this moment, I'm not really interested in that. I kind of feel like I either want it to just happen naturally, or I'm completely comfortable moving on to adoption. And we've talked about adoption a lot. It's not anything that is set in stone or that either of us had said, yes, we're definitely going to do that, but the topic has been brought up. And I feel like the topic of adoption has been brought up more than the topic of ever trying IUI or IVF. So I don't know if that answers your question, but as of right now, the plan is no, to not try anything as far as IUI or IVF, but we're not saying no. We're just saying as of right now, we don't think so. So I hope that answered any questions that you guys have had, but if you have any other questions, please leave them down below. I'd be more than happy to answer them, and I hope you guys are having a nice day, and I will talk to you later. Bye!